you.
Talk to us for a quick second about the necessity of having a group like Black Americans for a Brighter Future, and what does this award, being recognized as a trailblazer, mean to you and your family?
Well, certainly it's always wonderful to feel recognized or feel appreciated. But as I sat on the stage last night in the reception on panel with the group that is being recognized this year, I looked around and I said, this is really an unbelievable panel of individual accomplishment. And I couldn't help but just feel warm inside and feel like, thank you, God, that I have been brought to a place where I can be shoulder to shoulder with such incredible accomplishment. So yes, it means a lot to me personally, and it certainly means a lot to my family. My wife, as you know, was in the audience, and she told someone next to her, I sleep with the guy.
Yeah, she's going on the fast track to heaven putting up with you. I can tell you that now, because she is such a beautiful person and just a dear heart, and I look forward to getting to know her better because I've known you forever. So we're going to stay connected this time. And tell us, what do you think about the issue of entrepreneurship relative to some of the issues going on in the Black community, and what needs to be done if you had an opportunity to talk to President Trump about entrepreneurship and how it can cure some of the pathologies going on in the Black community nationwide?
Well, you know, I start usually when I'm having this kind of conversation, Reynard, with the system that we all are a part of. No matter what level you're on, no matter your socioeconomic status or stature, you live in a capitalist system. So if you live in a capitalist system which is built on free enterprise, and at the root of free enterprise is entrepreneurial development and entrepreneurial innovative thinking, risk-taking, and advancing business at even a micro level, if you live in that system with that whole dynamic that drives the engine of development, how can you apply a social program that would then have individual progress be a success model? You cannot apply a social program for individual success model in an entrepreneurial capitalist system. You can criticize capitalism if you like, or you can sit back, as we heard Mr. Wallace last night say when he went to visit this entrepreneur engineer when he was a young guy sitting over in the projects of Baltimore, and he recognized 2 points. One, that this guy had the wealth that he had accumulated because he had accomplished engineering as a vocation, and secondly, because he was doing business. He was an entrepreneur, and the light went off in Mr. Wallace's head that says, I got this, and I'm going to work this out. And the rest is history. Mr. Wallace himself is an incredible wealth-building engineer and entrepreneur.
Sure. And finally, what would you say, Mr. Inman, to the Black community at large as to why they are more in sync with Republican principles more so than Democratic principles?
That becomes always, in my opinion, the almost what we would call an enigma. Mm-hmm. It's a contradiction in existence almost, where we grew up with a clear understanding, even from the whole Reconstruction era, Civil Rights era, and on into the development post-Civil Rights. We recognized that there were certain basic factors that meant everything for survival. And it was faith, it was family, and it was working hard to accomplish collectively. We did that on the farms even in the sharecropping era. We came together working to help each other build our little barns. We would share our animals for labor. We would even share equipment. When one wouldn't have it, the other one might. But it was a collective entrepreneurial process. And the principles that Mr. Board referred to last night from Booker T. Washington and Carver, those, and Frederick Douglass, of course, reflected that kind of ingenuity. The principles that you got to invest, you have to develop a focus on those character traits that says we must produce in order to advance. And at the same time, recognize that government cannot be a total package solution to replace our mothers and our fathers and our collective community. It can't replace church. It can't replace our social interaction with each other. Government cannot do that. It has a role, but it is a surgical role for stimulating and doing what it's supposed to do. The individuals in the African American community today recognize that faith, family, and a community is the elements that allows us to have success, and we thrive on that. Today, though we have gotten trapped into that kind of negative side that has come by way of certain of these socialistic programs that government has almost placed on and created a challenge for us to even get out of. But at the root of our behavior, at the root of our character trait is self-promotion, collective work, and the fact that in order to be productive, you have to produce.
And you heard it from no one less than Mr. Alan Inman, one of our 2017 honorees. And to hear more of this interview, you can go to our website, bafbf.org, and we'll see you next year.